Hi. Thank you. First of all, thank you for trust with us. I tip, so it's a big pleasure to be here in Finland because always that we come here it's to make good things. Always from Catalonia, from Spain, you are a reference as a culture, as a society. So it's a big pleasure, a big honor to be here to help you. Because basically we are here to help your sons, basically, because we want to help your sons and your doctors through the club, because we are practicing football. Football it's more than being on a pitch and just play. Playing is more than it. So we try to think in it a lot through our methodology. Now I want to explain what means this methodology, from where we come, who are the most important person inside this methodology. We try to explain what we will do with your coaches, with your sons, and finally for your club. Okay. So first of all, I think the first phrase that we are using in smart football, it's our lemma. No, the football based on the brain. This is from where we start. We believe a lot about it, because football comes from physical actions, come from individual sports. When I remember when I started to study my sports science, always the teacher started teaching us about how we have to manage our trainings, and was from the individual concepts, because before all the physical coaches or the coaches come from the individual sports, and we have to change this mentality, and this is what we want to show you today. Okay. So basically, our methodology is the first methodology in the world based solely and exclusively on the brain. And today, with a brief about what means it, I try to explain you from where we come. And it's more than a methodology. We are an educational system, because play football. It's more than just playing. Be a coach. It's more than be a coach. You have part of coach. You have part of psychologist. You have part of doctor. So you need a lot of knowledge to help your sons and your doctors. So we need this knowledge to know what I have to do with my player during my coach time. This is very important, and this is where we try to help all the coaches. So, like we put here, it's a unique, different, and innovative educational system designed to train smart and creative football coaches and players, not just players. The consequence to work with coaches will be we'll have intelligent players, but we need these coaches to arrive through this knowledge to arrive to the players. So it's where we are working now with the coaches, because they are who will help your sons and your doctors. Okay? This is, of course, the most important person in our methodology. He is the creator. This is Juan Luis Martinez Garcia. Okay? And like you can see, he was 10 years in Español, more or less. As a methodology director, he was then a technical staff in the first team in Español, and then he goes to Russia to test his way to work, his methodology, because the methodology starts from his studies about the sports science in the doctoral thesis. So he started to investigate all his researches during the process to be a professional. Okay, so and then all the practices about how it works was in Español during 10 years, so it's a long term everything. And then he goes to Russia, another culture, another way of thinking. It's more than training another country. You know, it's not the same Spain than Russia. It's not the same Russia than Finland. And then he goes to Barcelona, actually Barcelona, to Madrid, to be for 2 seasons the Real Madrid methodology director. So he has been in a top teams, and then he goes to China, another big change to test our methodology, because Russia, Spain, China, and another time Spain. And then we are in Finland, we are in Greece, we are sometimes in Norwegian, and in Sweden. And so all this methodology is tested around the world. This is that say us that it works around the world. Of course, after he stayed in Madrid, in Español, so there are a lot of coaches and players that they use this kind of methodology. So, of course, Madrid, Barca, Manchester, that means that players or coaches that sometimes has been with Juan Martinez under his control, under his way to work. And this is our experience as a company, not just as a methodology, because as well we are a company. We work in many countries. Sometimes to work there in the country, like here in Finland. Sometimes because there are coaches that come in our headquarters in Salon to do courses about our methodology. Sometimes players that comes in our academy to work with us in our academy, and sometimes it's like training camps that we did in your countries or in their countries. So that means we have a big experience about what we are doing. Okay, so if we say that the methodology is based on the brain, of course, we want intelligent and creative players, so we have to make thinking there. So this is very important. This is the most important part of the methodology, how we can make think these players. So we need to create this path, we need to create this experience about how they need to think in a football, because when you are in your job, you need knowledge about what you have to do every time to do well your work. So this is the same in football, it's the same in sport. You need to know what it means to play this game. You need to know all the knowledge about all the situations inside the game. So, of course, we need to work during our training sessions, and then we will see during the games. But it's the consequence. It's not the final objective, just the result. The result is a consequence of our work. So we want to show it at your coaches, at your sons and daughters. Okay. For us, this is football. Looks like it's strange, football. Why football? It's an Europe. Or what is football? Because the most important things in football, we can see. Because it happens here. We have to start to create roads in our brain to understand what we are doing. So we need to create the roads. That means start to living experience about what means play football. Every time that we are learning some experience about what we have to do in each situation, we are creating some paths about new solutions. But solutions that they are related about football. Because it's the reason that we are here. Try to teaching your sons and your daughters to be a good footballers. But not just footballers. But we said before, it's more than coaching. You have to educate, yes, because the kids, because they need values. They are persons before the players. So the coaches have to help the players to be a good person, first of all. So that's what is important for us, very important. In this process, to start to play football, it's where we start to create the new roles. Because our brain is working through emotions, through thoughts, and actions. So emotions, why are important emotions? Emotions are important because when you are happy, you are motivated. You want to do more things. You want to do your best every time because you are happy. You want to do more things. We need to be happy. We need to be ready to be creative because our thoughts, if the coach that have your son have a lot of is making a lot of tricks for your son, like yelling, They're like screaming. Every time that he has a mistake, he's going back because he is afraid to make new things. He is cutting his creativity, so we want to play and work with the creativity. So that's we need that create this good patch in the brain of the players. So I don't want to tell you now how it works the brain, but minimum show a little bit about why we are working like this, because we need to live in this experience, but always in the same way, always thinking in all the content that need understanding the football. So that's mean spaces, that's mean relations, that's mean time, that's mean superiority, that's mean anticipation, that's mean balance, and more things, but all related with football. Every time that we are creating a good experience, we are creating a good path in our brain. If we are repeating a lot of times this good path, this good way through our brain, that means that we are creating a habit. When we are creating habits, that means that path is very strong. It's our learning now. Because you are learning now, because you know that this is right, so you have to repeat a lot of times. And from this connection that we create every time that we did something good or something well, we start to create a new connections, to create the way to be a good players, to adapt it in our positions, in our places, in different situations. And we say that the emotions are important, so it's not the same play in the training than play in the game. In the game there are more pressure. The players are under pressure, but they don't have to feel in this pressure because it's just playing. So the environment, that means parents, coaches, the school, the friends have to help them to be better. It's not just to try to stop his progression, his development. No, we want to give a more really good help every time. So this is a short explanation about what means or why we are working from the brain. We don't want to show you now a big picture about what means this word, but minimum a little bit explanation about why we start from this thinking. Okay, come on. Now we will see two videos that are important. That's the reason that we say that we have to live this experience. But in our methodology, we change the terminology of the words. Usually, when you are creating exercises, in your training, you say it, or the typical terminology is say exercises. We say experience. We mean experience, the practices, because during the experience, sometimes we have good experience, sometimes bad experience. That means from the mistakes we are learning. We need these mistakes. These mistakes, it's a new way to change our direction in the learning process. But we need the mistakes because we never know everything about football, everything about the life. We need these mistakes to change our role. So in our methodology, we are using these mistakes. And the coaches have to understand how they have to handle these mistakes. No, just yelling the guy because they're doing bad. No. We have to change direction. We have to speak about positive way. And then it's more easy to be motivated. It's more easy to have fun. That's finally, if you have fun, you are learning. But we need the coaches to guide this learning process because it's not just have fun as well. We need learnings. So this is where we are working. And we can see this video. Oh, I should take the sound. No, well, it's not important, but it's.
Okay. Same time.
Yeah? Wait. The sound. Well, that's okay. Yeah. Here we can see three stories of three different kids. Okay, they start to learn, they start to grow up, they need to start to walk, so before to run. So and in the same moment inside our brain is creating the new maps, because every time that we are doing something well or something bad, we are learning. They need this mistake. They need fall and then stand up, fall and stand up every time. Because then we are creating new ways. Because when we have a mistake, we know that this road is not good and we have to change. We have to try another time and try and try. And of course we have to investigate during this time. We need to have a lot of mistakes. Because the success, what is the success? What means success? We need time, we need a process, we need learn. After learn, we can arrive at our success. But sometimes the success is just doing something good. It's not just winning, it's more than winning. But that means we have to take care about the process, not just the result. If we have to take care about the process, maybe in the future we have a good footballer, maybe. But for sure we have a good person. But we have to work the two things in the same time. And finally, maybe there are success. These three persons start from when they were kids. They start having a lot of mistakes. They start to try something like inside the home, in the living room, in the sofa, try to down with the skis, but they have to investigate. After investigate, you get the present of the success, because you are learning. So finally, it's learning everything. It's not just winning. What means winning? We need learn, and then maybe we win. Okay, and we are here in the environment. In the same time, we are creating the routes and the maps of the brain of our son, our doctor, because the friends are showing some experience that our son, the parents are telling some way to education, some way of behaviors. The grandparents, another kind of behavior, because they were parents before, now they are grandparents, so the relation is different. And then of course the school. The school is very important. They need to think every day inside the school, because then they are ready to go on the beach and thinking and ask a lot of questions about what's going on in the training. And inside the football, we need to continue with this learning process. That's mean life. So in this life we have to learn, but of course we have to help in football way to learn. We are just a part of his life, of the creation of his brain, but we need to be there and show this way in the right way. So the environment is very, very important, and we have to go all together in the same direction, because we want the same. The coaches are coaching your sons because they want to show, to teach how your sons have to play. We are here to try to help your sons and your doctors, because we want to try to help the club and the coaches to get more tools to know how they can show to learn at your sons. And of course, the friends are friends, and the grandparents are grandparents, so they have to do it as a grandparents, not as a parents. Okay. Yeah. So finally, all this environment, all that we will do around the player, have consequence, and we want positive consequence. So this is our objective, to create positive consequence. All our training, all our way to coach the players. Okay, as a coaches, we know that when your son has 5 years, they have another capacity to learn, so they can connect few connections around what they are doing, because they are not ready to do some kinds of actions, because they are so young, and they start to create these paths, these connections, and sometimes some connections don't have a road. They have to discover the road. They need to spend time. They need to live in a lot of experience to create a new road. When they are so young, just know that they are a ball, and maybe one of these guys every day goes with his parents, and the parents at the park, and you try to play in their park, and then maybe he knows that the ball means that when I see the ball, I have to follow the ball and kick the ball, and maybe I have to score in this goal, because when I go to the park, my mother put two shoes, and I have to score between these two shoes. So that means that it's quite similar than the shoes. And maybe there are another kid that is there because he don't know that if I am yellow and you blue, we are opponents. They don't know. They are just playing. So maybe it's a moment to just play. It's not the moment to put rules and be strict. Okay, 2 teams and rules, and no. We'll see in the future. Now it's just playing. Just playing what means ball, what means 3 players of the same color, what means another color, what means that a big goal, and then start living. And then after a few time, we learn that we have to help our teammates, playing with them. We know that there are big goals where we have to score, but we have to know what the coach is. If I'm coach from under 5 or under 6, I have to know that I have to help to play these guys more. Just play. No rules. So this is important. When they grow up, of course, 7, 8, 9 years, start to create new rules, new maps, new connections, new paths. Sometimes more strong paths because they're living more times this situation. They can connect more connections, so more points, because they have more knowledge, because they are a little bit more experienced. So they can do more things about football. That means they know more about what we have to do when we have a space, which corner I have to pass the ball, what means if I have time. So all the concepts about football, it's all the things that your coaches will work with your shorts and your doctors. This. So now they are ready to do something similar than football, but it's not the same that professional football, amateur football, because they are not ready. Sometimes there are coaches that they thinking that they are coaching small players. No, they are coaching kids that want to be players. It's different. Okay, next one. Of course, professional players. Now, they are professional. They live with a lot of situation, a lot of experience. They change a lot of routes sometimes. They have a lot of mistakes. They are more ready to play more fast, to understand more fast what means play football, because they have a lot of experience. So they are ready to play like this. They're understanding all the time the spaces, what means if we can progress, what means if we have to play around to find the new spaces. We start to count numbers of players in each zone to understand if I have to play on left, on right, inside, outside. If I have to play fast, or quick, I have to play more slow. I have to go back and change the direction because no space here, so we have to change. We have to start again. Now the keeper has to count numbers. 1 is 1, 1 is 1, 1 is 1. Danger. Go. Go ball. Okay. Now, another situation. So they are ready to think in it. It's not the same than players of 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, but we have to work, because then when they arrive to be professional or be amateurs or just play football when they grow up, they want to continue to play football because they have fun, they learn. So we want to create players and persons. Okay, now we want to show you some important points about our methodology, as a way to work. Okay, the first point in our methodology is that we have eliminated all the jobs where there is no brain activity. It's not right 100% because always the brain is working. Also, if you are sitting like this now, we are thinking, our brain it's working, but it's not working about football way. So we mean it. Okay? These kind of examples, or running around the forest, around the tracks, around the beaches, for what? This is not football. Of course, we need the physical conditionals, the physical condition, but in a different way. Because they are kids, because they are footballers, and for us it's not important, this kind of actions. Okay. We remove all the descontextualized technical. That means, okay, to play football we need to learn passes. We need to learn how we have to shoot. We have to learn how we have to control the ball. Okay, of course, we need it a lot, and it's very important. But we want, like we said before, start to create from the initial point that they start to play football, situations in our terminology, it's like experience where they start to living, okay, I am here, I have time, because in my zone, I have time. This player never can come inside this zone, so I have time to thinking where is my teammate. 2 against 1, or 3 against 1. And I start to think, okay, he is there, so I have to pass there. And the coaches will create different zones, different spaces where your player will, your sons and your doctors will have more time or less time, or they have more challenge or less challenge to learn about football. For the reason, always we put opponent in our situations. Okay, this kind of drills, we never use it. Always minimum 2 players plus one opponent, 3 players, 4 players plus 1 opponent, and if we are talking about under 6, under 7, we try to create different games, like from the traditional games, but adapted to football way. This is a picture from the courses from the coaches, where we explain the courses, what means the perception, what means the analysis, what means the decision, inhibition, execution, because here it's very low, this perception, because always you have to thinking just where is the ball, and where I have to pass the ball, and never have to thinking where I have to pass the ball, because I know that I have to go all the time in this direction, so the brain is almost off, because there, and run. No, okay, why I have to pass there? So this is the question, why, when, how, and always these questions will come from the coaches for the players. Of course, if they are so young, in a different way. If they are 7, 8, 9, 10, in another way. If they are 14, 16, 18, in another way. But always they are making questions about, okay, what do you know about football? And then we try to solve the new problems about helping inside the off-road experience. Okay, this is what I told you. We use experience and questions. So experience is like exercises, but we say experience for the reason. And questions, we need these questions. We need the knowledge from your sons and your daughters, because then we can help them. And sometimes they don't know how to answer the question. Doesn't matter. The coach will find another way to know this knowledge, just with the actions. Or maybe just an individual question, because she is very, or he is very shy. Doesn't matter, the coach has to know how, but this is his job. This is an example of just an experience to see which kind of experience we will use. So always experience with different teams, with opponents, with zones, and all these teams and zones mean something in football, means some kind of content that we are learning. Because we have reflection guidelines, we have objective, offensive and defensive. So all these things are the things that the coaches are working during the process to create a training. They need to thinking about it before to create the training for your sons and daughters. This is important, because if we are demanding that the players they have to thinking, the first who has to thinking is the coach, of course. If they don't think, never, of course the players maybe don't thinking as well. So we have to think as a coaches, and we have to know what we want from your daughters and sons. Okay, go. This is very important. We try that no solution are given, so we try to don't give the solution for the players. That's the reason, the question. Because if we say no, every time you have to run there. Now pass, now shove, now control, now go. Why? When they are on the game, they need to think if they need now a pass, a control. Why I need a pass? Why I need a control? Where is my opponent? Okay, it's there. So maybe I have to change my body position because the coach asked me about body position, and then I try to protect the ball, and then I have more chances to keeping the ball. This is a reason about how we have to manage our body. But they need to know how. This is very important. And this is the coach's process. Okay? This is very important. How our coaches handling these mistakes. This is very important. This mistake is a great opportunity to learn, a great opportunity. But they have to know, and they know. So that means they will ask a good question that will help your sons and daughters to find a new solution to play well as he can. Because we know that there are more talented players, less talented players, but it doesn't mean that they can learn. They learn in another rhythm, not in the same rhythm than the others. But it doesn't matter. We are ready to create training sessions to different levels of learnings. Sometimes more quick, more fast, sometimes more slow. Don't worry. But we need to learn every time. We need to show learnings every time. And this is important, very important for us. We told that the brain is working with thoughts, with emotions, with actions. So this is a part, thoughts. These emotions are so important. If you are thinking positive, if the critical side of the coaches is positive, then the coaches can find new solutions to help the players. If not, it's impossible. If you are, like in your life, if you are so negative every time it's like, shit, no kids, no? So this is the same. If we are positive, we have to find the solution. We want to look for the solution. If not, no. But we need this kind of coaches that they want to be positive, and we try to show it. And the environment. It's the same with the parents. Okay, please don't put more pressure for your sons. Don't put more pressure, because it's for nothing. They have to have fun. That's it, have fun. And then the coaches are the professionals who will help your sons during the coaches process, during the training, during the games. It's like in your job. Imagine that you go in your job, you are in the bank or where you want, or if you are a teacher, another parent of the kids of your classroom said, hey teacher, no, like this, no. You have to teach your son like this. No, man, like this, no. And all the time, this. We have professionals, they know how they have to teach. We have to let them to work. And then, of course, the club, we analyze if they are good or not to work with your sons. But I'm sure that they want to help your sons. I'm sure. But we have to let work them. It's very important. Because we know all of you watching football on TV, they all play football sometimes, okay. But it's more than play football. There are names, the name is, I think, Maradona was quite good. It was quite good, but I think as a coach, it's not the same. That's the big picture about what means be footballer, player, and be coach. You need another abilities, another kind of tools. If you are not sensitive with your player, you don't have to take care of the emotions, you don't understand what means the mistake, how you can help them, you have a big problem, or your sons have a big problem, because the coach doesn't know how can help your players or your sons. So this is very important. And of course, we have to leave space for the creativity. If they are afraid, they have fear about the mistake, they feeling with fear, they don't have a creativity. So if we are yelling every time the mistakes, the player maybe sometimes don't try to do it. No, we want that they try. And try a mistake, and try a mistake, and try a mistake. And we want to work with the creative part. In our brains we have more logical part. So we are ready to learn maths, to learn AT, to learn some graphics, some chemicals, and that. But as well, we need to learn to play the guitar, some artistical things. So football is art. Football is art. So you need abilities, you need to know how to use this art. So we have to work with this part. And this is our key point, the learning model. So all the things that the coaches and your sons will do during this time, it's because they are following up this learning model. It's a basic point where the coaches have a guide to follow the learnings of your players. And then we will show the coaches different tools to following up these learnings. But this is the point where we start. This is very important. So it's a great phrase. Tell me, and I will forget. Because maybe you now tell me something, but maybe in 2 months, or in 1 month, when I come back again here, I don't remember. I need to put in my phone or something like this. Teach me, and I may remember. If you teach me, maybe I remember, but maybe after 2 years, I don't remember what was. But involve me and I learn. That means every time that we are doing something, we are involving inside something, we are learning. This is what we want. Involve your sons and your daughters inside the training session. And the coaches. All of you, and the parents. And then if all of you are involved in this process, this guy will learn. So that is what we want. So the learning model is a guide to create the task where through them will set the player's brain. So every time that we are thinking to create experience, that means that we want to create some actions, some movements, and they are taking more new learners. And every time his back, it's full, more full. More ready to play, It's like the unit that we want. This is just an example of the main points that we are working. It's the same as in the football action, but from these main points, we have different guide reflections. The guide reflections are more specific reflections about the work that they have to do during the trainings. And from these guidelines, the coaches will make the questions. It's a help for the coaches to follow the learning process. Okay, so inside smart football, the player is the protagonist about everything. So we have around him the coaches, education, parents, nutrition, values, emotions, and competition. But the most important is the player. And finally, what kind of arrow do we want to be? Look at the pictures. Player in one direction. He want to have fun, he want to learn, he want to play. And all the other environment in the other side. No, like this, no, you have to run, you have to score, you have to ta. Or we want to follow this way of your son. We have to help him to walk, and grow up. It is what we want. Help the player, help your son, help your doctor, help the coaches, because the coaches are here. The process of coaching is not, okay, I'm the coach and follow me. No, I'm the coach. Come on, go. We are behind the players because we are helping all the players who go more slow and the players who go more fast. We need these tools to understand how we have to manage it, but we have to go together. So we have to ask in our mind, in our head, which kind of arrow we want to be. And finally, in smart football, we want to make the things easy. But sometimes the easy things are more difficult. But we try, and we are here just to help you and your sons and your daughters, and of course, the club. Okay, so thank you for your attention. Now I'm open to hear your questions, if you have any questions. Okay, so now we will hear Mikko about the trainings.
Eikö ole kellään mitään kysyttävää?